You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Perceptions, human perceptions, are expected to change very much the way they did back in 1333 during the Great Black Death, in which so much of Europe died, and the great cataclysms were happening. Afterwards, there was the birth of the Renaissance, which actually gave rise to new sounds in music, new 3D perception in artwork, the use of more vibrant art tones. There was a perceptual shift that occurred back then, and I believe that we're about to go through the same thing. And the patterns that are emerging all kind of point in that same general direction, that something amazing, something truly amazing is about to happen, and we're the generation to see it come to pass.
If you were somehow in the midst of a reptilian, what would you ask it, John?
That's an interesting question, isn't it? So many years of searching, what would the first words be?
Exactly.
How about, I would have to reassure it that I come in peace.
Do you think it would care?
I don't think that I would have a chance to even realize what hit me if it did care. If it decided it didn't like it. But I think that peace is what it's really all about. We have to live in symbiosis with each other. And if it was coming to harm me, I would just have to take what was coming for me or what I was going to get, because I've been looking for them for this long. Eventually, maybe one day I'll be standing toe to toe with one. At that time, you know what? I'll have to think deeply. I just don't. I think I would be speechless. I don't know what else to say. I would probably be speechless.
Do you believe that they are also involved in the alien abduction phenomena?
Most assuredly. I know that we've had increased numbers of reports where the Greys, even though they appear to be somewhat of a independent species of their own, there are some of them that are in working directly for the reptilian humanoids. They've been seen directing the Greys around on the ship without question. And so they do seem to be kind of in charge of the show as far as that's concerned during abductions. But we also know that there is another caste of the reptilian humanoids known as the Draco. These beings have leathery wings like that you would perceive in a bat to have. They would have protuberances coming out of their head that are like horns. They're actually cranial cavities that have resonance capabilities for communication. And we also have heard that the Draco have been seen, some of them with a bronze, dark reddish kind of a scale, and others having that of a white powder, like a white powdery scale. And the white ones, the albinos, as they appear to be, seem to be the elitist of all the caste of the reptilian humanoid species groups.
John, it's a fascinating field. Next hour, I want to talk about your work in underground caverns and what you've come across there. Is there anything we need to be worried about with these visitations?
No. I mean, the horrible thing about it is it's your sanctuary. When you're in your room at night, that's your sanctuary. That's an invasion, regardless of who was in there. I don't care who was in there. If they're not my family or anything, that's an invasion of my sanctuary. I think that immediately hits people when they have an encounter. So, it's hard to get over the fact that you're never really truly secure from anybody coming into your home. But as far as a group coming this way or anything that might happen, I think that we just have to watch this large game play out. We are just actors on this large stage. It's just that we happen to now see that there are characters far beyond our imagination that are going to be taking a part in what's going to be happening here. It's definitely almost like a classical mythological play that's getting ready to act itself out for human consciousness to witness.
They say that there are, a number of different species of ETs out there, this being one of them. Is there a variation of the reptilians?
Yeah, there are, like the caste distinctions, like I was just talking to you about, the Draco versus the regular
Right.
humanoids. The Greys are also thought to be a hybrid between reptile and human, but one that was perhaps created to be more of a cloned race than anything else, just as something that could be given instructions like robotic instructions so it could follow out. I don't know how they would strip it of consciousness, but I guess biologically they may have studied consciousness long enough to know which part of what brain structure or something would be required for it, and maybe take that out from these gray robot-type clones. But they are considered partly reptilian humanoid to a certain degree, but they're not like the pure grays. Others have been seen to be quite small. Just as if, there have been the hobbits that were discovered off the islands in Java, that were only 2 to 3 feet tall, so have the reptoids also been seen to be rather large or be rather short. And that's what makes it hard to pin it down with the reports, because people are saying, well, I'm hearing all these different stories of different types of alien reptilians, and it's not just one kind, so I can't really believe it. But the point being is that, as I've stated, there are as many variations in form just as there are with humans.
What do you think of Ike's theories, that there are some families here that are reptilian blood?
I believe that we all have genetics that are leading back to the ancient reptiles. So if we want to point fingers, we have to recognize we all contain that. It's just that some of these guys that are ruling this planet are truly so separated from it seems like separated from the global consciousness that we perceive them as being something of some sort of an evil character, and I guess that would be true. I wouldn't say it's because they're part of a bloodline. The only blood that was ever pulled off the Shroud of Turin proved to be Rh negative, which already has been established as Rh negatives have a higher degree of reptilian, humanoid, or alien contact, more so than most other blood groups. This has been clearly established before. So this means that there's only a small population of this planet that have some sort of genetic difference in their blood or something like that the aliens seem to be following along and looking at. And from our research, the protein on the surface of the cell that makes you Rh negative, it really is something that's used as a transfer for carbon in and out of the cell wall. It helps accelerate the exchange of carbon, which means that Rh negatives are actually have been born or made, I'm being careful using that term,
sure,
or hybrided to actually be in better health in a highly polluted environment.
John, do we know if there were any ancient caves that had depictions, drawings of these reptilians on them?
Yeah, the Native American Indians have a lot of different petroglyphs that show the anthropomorphic shapes fusing humans with different animals. They do have those with the reptiles as well. There's a lot of Native American mythology that points directly back to serpents and the snake people, as they called them. And, of course, the little grays, which I already pointed out, are the little ant people. They're seen in these traditional forms and throughout American mythology. And the petroglyphs are just a record of their presence here, just as in Egypt they tried to build the pyramids as a storehouse of information because it could weather the sands of time nicely, although time's changing slowly, as we've been saying.
Well, they do. Times continue to change. Stay with us, John Rhodes, because up next, your legendary Lost Grand Canyon underground city and some of your work. And then the final hour, we'll open up the phone lines with John Rhodes. Crypto Hunter, I'm George Norrie, back in a moment on Coast to Coast AM.